Greetings, it's a beautiful day here on the Southern Downs. If you can't already tell, I'm back home on the block. Today we are heading out for a hike, one that's been on my bucket list for a very long time. That's right, Mount Cordeaux. If you're from southeast Queensland, there's a high chance you've probably heard of it. It's quite a popular hiking destination, especially these days it seems. Go back 3 years when I first started up this channel, started up hiking videos. My first ever hiking video, I believe, was the Mount Mitchell climb, which is up near Cunningham's Gap. Well, where we're going today, Mount Cordeaux, is the other side. So I did Mount Mitchell, which that track's been closed for quite a while. It might be open again. I know it's a bit tricky in terms of access around Cunningham's Gap because there's been a lot of construction, roadworks going on for a long time now. Even today, it might be a bit tricky to find a parking spot, so we might have to walk a little bit extra. We'll see when we get up there. But yeah, my first ever hiking video was Mount Mitchell. It might not be the first one on my channel. Back in those early days, some of my videos were a bit out of order, but yeah, it was the first one I ever filmed. I know that. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting going to see the other side. And yeah, apart from that, I've just been working, stacking up since getting back from New Zealand. Started up a new job up in Toowoomba. So I've just been getting settled into the routine, been keeping very busy. I've worked 50 hours this last week, just a lot of driving around, a lot of traveling. And yeah, apart from that, everything else around here is pretty normal. But yeah, really enjoying it so far. It's quite a diverse role. I'm going to be documenting parts of the journey, just the logistics behind traveling, how I travel for work, and all that sort of stuff. And apart from that, we'll just do a few short day trips here and there. Down to 6 degrees this morning, no frost this next week, there's a bit of cloud cover, and yeah, it's been overall quite mild. A few cold frosty mornings here and there, but yeah, nothing too significant. And yeah, starting to see some signs of early spring. The wattles are already flowering. Days are really starting to warm up a lot. It's still comfortable weather for hiking, so yeah, believe me, I'm going to take advantage of it while the weather is still cool, but it won't be too long and we'll be complaining about the heat. So yeah, that's it. I've got everything ready in my car already, so yeah, let's hit the road. Alright, it's a beautiful day, driving through the Southern Downs countryside towards Cunningham's Gap. Sun is out. I must say, it's been a while since I've done just short day trips around here, just explored a new hike that I haven't been to. You can see we're near the foothills of the Great Dividing Range. Going to get a lot higher as we head towards Cunningham's Gap. It's about a bit less than an hour from where I live. I've done a lot more overseas content recently, like Sri Lanka over the new year, and yeah, more recently New Zealand, of course. But yeah, I'm not planning any significant overseas trips for the next while, so really it's just going to be Australia content. And I mean, with the way I'm working now, not going to be any extended trips or anything like that. I'm going to be traveling a lot for work, so I'll document what I can, I'll show what I can, but I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to work out yet. But yeah, here and there on weekends like I'm doing now, I will show you. Yeah, it's just small, quiet country towns just like this, you know. It's just a very peaceful existence out here. You really do not get tired driving these kind of roads. It's just look at this, man. Look at this countryside. It's just absolutely spectacular. You can't get tired of it. I've been doing a lot of introspection recently because I realized it's been just about 4 years since I moved out to this region. For those of you who don't know, I grew up on the Gold Coast. Born and raised southeast Queensland area. 4 years ago, end of July 2022 is when I moved out here permanently. So it's been a bit over 4 years now, and let me tell you, those 4 years have been an absolute roller coaster. An absolute roller coaster. And I don't want to be one of those people that just romanticizes everything in the countryside and says, oh, look at this, look how beautiful it is, you know, life is so much better out here. There's many sides to it, definitely, like many things. There's definitely a lot of sides to it, but I must say, it was definitely the right move. For myself, it was definitely the right move. But yeah, let me tell you, it has not been easy. There have definitely been times where I thought, damn, what am I doing? Why am I here? what's the purpose of this all? There's been times when I've thought that, and honestly, especially when after moving out here, like I really didn't know what I was gonna do, what I wanted out of life. In a sense, I felt a bit stuck, and I'm gonna touch more on that as we get into the hike and all that. More reflection from these last few years, and yeah, because for quite a few years, really, I would say until I don't know exact timelines, but until sometime last year, honestly, probably until about a year ago, I would say. Yeah, until about a year ago, I just felt a bit stuck. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was wanting. Like I was working towards things. Of course, I've had goals these last few years I've been working on, but I didn't have the same drive that I have now just to go and achieve. And I would say, even going back into school and all that, I was always a very driven person. Like I got grades. I was always driven to work hard and achieve. But yeah, especially after moving out here for quite a few years, I was in a bit of a rut. Like I didn't know exactly where I was going, what I wanted. And look, to some extent, like I don't know exactly where I'm going right now. I don't think any of us really know for sure, because there's so much to do, so much to see. Like, because this journey of life can be a real roller coaster. So I think there's very few people that can genuinely say, oh, they know exactly where they're going. No, of course, we all have our own ups and downs, challenges. I was studying throughout the time, right? And yeah, I've been, since moving out here, I've been working. Like after moving out here, I did some odd farm jobs. Eventually got a job at a local dairy. I worked there for 3 years, and yeah, look. And looking back on that, do I regret it? No, I don't regret it, but I wouldn't care to repeat it. That's the best way to put it. I don't regret those experiences over those few years, especially doing farm work, working at the dairy. It definitely opened my eyes a lot. Like it felt a bit like a rite of passage, honestly. Like it was definitely a significant step for me to take. I mean, never growing up in a region like this. A lot of people, they would not be willing to uproot their lives in the city and then come out to a region like this and do farm work. It was just something totally different to how I grew up, right? So a lot of people would not be willing to uproot their lives like that. But for myself, it was just, it's just where fate led me, I can say. Yeah. So I don't regret working those few years, doing farm work, working at the dairy. I don't. But I wouldn't care to repeat it. I would not care to repeat it now. I wouldn't want to go back and repeat that. Let's just say that. So yeah, really those few years, it was really, I think, it forced me to do a lot of introspection, a lot of soul searching, really. Over a year ago now, I got out of the dairy, I switched jobs. Over this last year, I've been able to lock in, get my university coursework done, do my placement, all that. But now at the point where I've got a new job, I've got my first job in my field of study. Now I'm in the scenario where I'm effectively working full time. I'm still at my old job for the time being. But yeah, new job's going very well, settling into that, and yeah, just been very busy, of course, settling into the new routine. But yeah, these last few years definitely haven't been easy, and for those 3 years when I was working dairy, I felt quite stuck in place. I really didn't feel that I was progressing much. Like yeah, I was working towards things, I was studying and all that, but I just felt stuck. I just felt like I was just putting all this time and effort into something that really wasn't leading anywhere. That's how I felt inside. I never said anything because I didn't really understand it at the time, but now looking back, I can see that more clearly those few years. So I don't regret it. Like it was necessary to go through that to really understand, where I'm going, where I am, who I am, and where I want to go from here. Because right now it's like I feel more driven. I'm working towards goals, and yeah, look, is life perfect? No, there's still great many things that I want to work on, I want to improve, but at the moment, like I'm working hard, I'm stacking up, and I'm on the right path. So I'm content with where I'm at right now. Alright, we're now on the main highway, heading up towards Cunningham's Gap, or the Gap for short. Yeah, so this highway that we're on right now, Cunningham's Highway, and yeah, the gap up here, which is called Cunningham's Gap, it is named after Alan Cunningham. Alan Cunningham was one of the early pioneers in this region in the early 1800s. I believe he surveyed the area, including the Gap, Mount Cordeaux, where we're going today, Mount Mitchell, that area, and yeah, this side of the range in like late 1820s, around that. The Southern Downs region where I live is just across the main range on the western side of the Great Dividing Range. The Great Dividing Range is this long chain of mountains that runs along the eastern part of Australia, just slightly inland from the east coast. It's really what separates the eastern coastal plains, where a lot of the major cities are, Sydney, Brisbane, Gold Coast, and even going south, Melbourne's more south, of course. The Great Dividing Range is a very long mountain range from north to south. It's not very large in terms of having tall, jagged peaks. The highest point, Mount Kosciuszko, is only a bit over 2,200 meters, so it doesn't have extremely high peaks like, say, New Zealand Southern Alps, where I was recently, or European Alps, or other mountain ranges around the world. But it is large in terms of the distance north to south. It definitely plays a significant role in Australia's geography, especially dividing. It's called across the Great Divide because it divides the eastern seaboard, where a lot of the major population centers are, from the large interior regions, which quickly become a lot drier, more arid, especially as you continue heading west into outback areas. And yeah, major impact, of course, on Australian river systems, drainage channels, all that. So yeah, we're heading right up into the Great Dividing Range now. Cunningham's Gap is pretty much what connects the coastal plains of southeast Queensland to large interior arid regions of outback Queensland. The Southern Downs region, where we are in right now, is pretty much immediately to the west of the range, and yeah, that's where I call home. So here we are. Alright guys, I can see the twin peaks of Mount Mitchell in the distance. I don't know how well you can see with the camera, but that's where I hiked 3 years ago. We're going to be going on the other side of the gap to climb Mount Cordeaux. I don't know exactly what the parking situation is going to be like. I have heard the last few years there's been a lot of roadworks there, and yeah, the main car park for quite a while was closed. I believe it is open now, but there's only very limited space, and it's quite a popular hiking spot. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get parking at the main car park. If not, we'll probably have to park further down. Some people said you sometimes have to park like further down on the road to other picnic areas. So depending where you park, you might potentially add extra time to the walk, which I don't mind. I've got time today, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. There are lots of roadworks going on, especially as you get up to the top of the gap. This has been going on for years at this point, just bit by bit, like brand new railings, brand new road here, widening something up here. But yeah, just a lot of stuff going on, just been constant the last few years. It's a rest area, but it's closed, so yeah. I'm not sure exactly where we'll be able to park. I think I'll drive up to the main car park, see if we can get lucky and get a spot there. If not, we'll have to turn around and yeah, drive a bit further down. Because yeah, going past the main car park, it just starts a rapid descent onto the other side, and yeah, we're not going down there because there's no car parks down there. So yeah, but all these rest areas on the left there seem closed. So yeah, anyway, we'll have to suss it out and yeah, see how it goes. So we're gonna keep an eye out for the left. There's a rest area coming up here somewhere. Alright. Let's have a look. Alright, we'll go further up, see what we can find. Yep. Cunningham's Gap rest area. Yeah, 3 kilometers. Alright. Oh, yeah, there's some people parked on the side here, it looks like. Caravan. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be lucky. They'll be parked further up if there was space. Yep, there's people parked here as well. Alright. Alright guys, well I found my parking spot. As we've been driving further up, a bunch of cars parked here, and as you can see in front of me, a bunch of cars parked. It's only a few hundred meters up this way, the main car park, but I decided, you know what, these cars are all parked here. I'm gonna park here because that car park is guaranteed to be full. So yeah, we are literally right on the edge, as you can see, next to this lovely lantana here. They really need to get rid of that at some point, maybe a job for me in my new role. A few of us are right on the edge. Yeah, my car's here. Yeah, we're pretty much good to go at this point. I've got I wanted to show you my new addition to the car camping setup. I've got a new fridge set up. Yep, that is on, that is cooling. As you have up here, it is nice temperate rainforest. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna start walking. Nothing else to really do, just gonna start walking up and get onto this hike. Quickly becomes beautiful, lush rainforest as we head up to the top of the gap here. But yeah, a lot of trucks, long steep descent on the other side. Start of the walking track right here, and another track on the other side. What is this? Okay, West Gap picnic rest area and car park. Okay, so this is one trail. This must be a new trail that they made. It leads up to this leads up to the main car park, it looks like, and on the other side is another track. Because this side over there is all blocked off now. They've got these barriers to stop rock falls, and that is where I started the Mount Mitchell climb last time. Oh, okay. Mount Mitchell track is open. Yes, guys. So the old entrance to Mount Mitchell is just up here, but there's all these new barriers there, so you can't get past. This is all brand new here, looks like. Yeah, Mount Mitchell track, 9.4 kilometer return walk, 3.5 hours. So yeah, if you want to start Mount Mitchell, you've got to start right here. So a bit tricky to get to the start of Mount Mitchell track now. There's no direct access from the old car park up there where I was parked last time. So you've got to sort of figure out your way. There's the rest area further down, which adds like 2.5 kilometers. I got as close as I can today, just parked down here, but at the moment it's a bit of a free-for-all, just parking on the side of the highway here. Yeah, anyway. Okay, well this is going to lead up to we want to go up to that rest area there. And yeah, then we'll be starting the Mount Cordeaux hike. You can see just as we get off the main highway, it very quickly just becomes dense, lush rainforest. Temperate rainforest, that is. It's a bit chilly here to be considered tropical rainforest. We are in temperate rainforest. Gondwana remnants. We've come up to this intersection here. So yeah, 500 meters this way is the Crest car park. That's where I was trying to get to, but it's clearly full. Otherwise, why would there be people parked all the way down here? So we're going that way. The way it came from. That of course goes to the start of the Mount Mitchell track. So that is open now. It is open. It was closed for quite a while. Yeah, and then 2 kilometers this way, West Gap Creek picnic area. That is like the official place you would need to park if you can't get any parking here, and that adds like 2.5 kilometers to the walk, which I don't want to just walk next to the main highway 2.5 kilometers. I mean, it is nice here, but we're next to the loud highway. You want to get away from that. So yes, yeah, I didn't want to add that much, so that's why there's not much space. So it is a bit of a free-for-all at the moment, it looks like. So all right, let's walk this way. There is cars there. What the hell? It says 500 meters this way. This is not 500 meters. Come on, bro. Oh, there's someone pulling up right there. Okay. Yeah. So this here is the parking. So there is bathroom facilities right at the top here, and we are now at the top of Cunningham's Gap. Yes, this is the old car park, which has been completely changed, renovated since I was last here. It's all the roadworks here, brand new. Yeah, this is where I want to get to. But yeah, the old entrance to Mount Mitchell is on this side. You can see there's new barriers there. So you cannot enter from this. You cannot enter Mount Mitchell track from this side anymore. And yeah, the car park is indeed full. Wheelchair parking, yeah, obviously. But everywhere else looks to be pretty full. You pretty much have to get here. You either have to get here super early, or you need to get very lucky and arrive here just as someone else is leaving. And yeah, quite a bit of unofficial parking that is definitely not legal. Someone tried to come up here in a van, and yeah, well, look how this person is parked, eh? Yeah, okay. Yep, I made the right choice. Completely full up here. Some people opting for some more unofficial parking, which is definitely not illegal. We're at one of the ends of Main Range National Park. Alright, so yep, Box Forest and Mount Mitchell begins at other end of car park, Mount Cordo. So we're going to go this way to Mount Cordo. Right, so you can see a map of the trails here. So you got the Cunningham Highway going through the gap here. Right, last time I did Mount Mitchell, which is on the southern side of Cunningham's Gap. So you're going down this way. That's the Mount Mitchell track I did last time. We are here. We are parked somewhere between up here. Found our way up here, and yeah, for Mount Cordo we've got to follow this track here that snakes there, and then there's the Mount Cordo lookout. So yeah, 6.8 kilometer return, about 2.5 hours, so a bit shorter than the Mount Mitchell 10.2 kilometer. And yeah, it all depends really how long you walk. At the moment, all this depends where you can get parking. So yeah, anyway, that's it. Let's just get straight into it. Yeah, it's meant to be a bit shorter than Mount Mitchell, but yeah, I'm sure I'll get it done in good time. Take our time, have a nice leisurely stroll. And yeah, this has been on my bucket list for quite a while. And at the moment, like, it seems like everyone, so many people I know, it seems to have done this hike recently. Like I'm not on social media much at the moment, but it's like every time I log on social media, like someone's done Mount Cordo that I know. So yeah, here's some more information. Cordo, yeah. So Cunningham's Gap section, Spices Gap, Cumbra, Glenrock. That's really big national park. Main Range. Yeah, so it's a grade 4 hike, so yeah, they say you should be experienced. Alright, onwards and upwards. Alright, so here it's explaining more about Alan Cunningham, who I was mentioning before. Yeah, explorer and colonial botanist Alan Cunningham located a track through Cunningham's Gap, 1828, difficult to negotiate, classified as a bridle trail because of its steep, unforgiving slope. So yes, we are now standing over Cunningham's Gap. So it's named after Alan Cunningham because yeah, this is the way that he originally came up this side of the range to head west, because if you see, you can't really see now, but on this side of the range it goes much lower in elevation, almost down to sea level, to the coastal plains. And yeah, very rugged and steep on this side. It's a bit more gentle on it's a bit more gentle on the western side, because yeah, even on the southern downs where I live, we're on an elevated plateau, but yeah, it's very steep and rugged going down towards the coastal plains. So yeah, here we have a memorial of Alan Cunningham, erected on 11th June 1927 to the memory of Alan Cunningham, who discovered the Darling Downs on 6th June 1827. So yeah, pretty much a century after he came up this pass and this mountain pass on 11th of the same month. Yep, seen this one many times driving past, but I haven't actually come up to see it. Alan Cunningham's monument. Ooh, some massive hoop pines up here, which is one of the most prominent native trees that we have in this region. And yeah, up there is one of the peaks of Mount Mitchell. Yes, it's only quite a thin strip of rainforest along Main Range National Park. Very interesting how quickly it changes, and then you get to the edge habitat like we're in now, becomes a lot drier, and then suddenly eucalypt species are much more dominant, as is the case in most of Australia. And down here looks like we have a lookout. Yes, Cunningham's highway going down the eastern side. Long steep descent down into the scenic rim. A road I've driven so many times. We're literally standing on the rim. Wow. Wow, cuz. So yeah, you can see quite a few other prominent peaks here. Mount Greville, yeah, right there. Mount Alfred. Mount Maroon, yeah, Mount Maroon, can't quite, you can sort of see it in the back there. But yeah, that is one of the, actually I can see that in the back there. That's Mount Maroon. That is one that's also on my bucket list. It's meant to be one of the hardest climbs in southeast Queensland. We're going to be doing that sometime soon, hopefully. So if you want, you can opt for the shorter rainforest circuit, which basically just comes up where we are. You just do a bit of a loop here, and then go back. We're going to continue on this way and then move on to the Mount Cordeaux track. Surprisingly, hasn't been too many people on the trail. With how many cars were parked, I was expecting to see quite a few people. Only a handful so far. Although perhaps it is a pretty popular destination to climb up for sunrise and early morning. So I could imagine there might be a big crowd on the top or close to the top of Mount Cordeaux. So we might see all these people on the way down, perhaps. But yeah, just continuing on what I was saying before about feeling stuck in life. Yeah, really the first 3 years after relocating to the Southern Downs, I felt quite stuck. I was working farm jobs at the dairy for 3 years. Yeah, and then the job I've been working the last 2 years. Got that almost 2 years ago now. So for a while I was doing dairy plus that. And yeah, more recently, then about a year ago, got out of the dairy. And more recently, finally got my first job in my field of study. So yeah, just been continuously improving, especially over the last year. Moving onwards and upwards. But man, those 3 years after moving out here really felt quite stuck. I wasn't quite sure what to do with myself. And anyway, the reason I'm sharing this is because I know there's many people out there, especially younger people my age or around similar ages, who are feeling a bit the same way, where you might have some goals, you might have some ambitions, but you don't know how to go about them. You don't know how to actually get out there and start achieving those goals. And look, I don't want to present myself as someone who's just giving advice and all this. Like, I'm just sharing my own experience with the hope that perhaps you might find it helpful or not. Even if these ramblings help one other person, that's great. That's great. Or even if it helps no one, sure. I mean, it benefits me just to, share this as well. They say, sharing, teaching, all these trying to is one of the best ways to learn. So, yeah, here we are. I will say one thing that has always helped me find that clarity is being out in nature, hiking. That's why this is an activity that I always come back to. I've always loved hiking, and I've always come back to it even in busy periods when I haven't had much time. I've always come back to it. Like, the last few weeks have been very busy. Even the last few weekends, I've had other things to do, haven't gone on any hikes. But yeah, this time I said, nope, I am dedicating a full day just to go out here and go hiking. So yeah, it doesn't have to be hiking, but having any activity, a hobby that you really enjoy, just doing that regularly or semi-regularly. So if you're feeling stuck, first thing I would say is stop trying so hard to figure it out, because the more you try to figure things out, the more you try to force things, the more stuck you might feel. It's like being stuck in quicksand. The more you struggle, the worse it becomes. So I would say have an activity that you can use to detach from your everyday life. I don't know your exact for you watching, I don't know your exact circumstances, but like for myself, hiking's always been one of those activities where no matter what I'm doing, I can always just pick a day here and there, on weekends or whenever I just make the time for it. I just go out there and then always feel a lot better afterwards, always gain that clarity. And what's interesting the reason I chose this specific hike is because last time when I went on the Mount Mitchell climb, especially when I got to the top, I had a bit of an aha moment, a bit of a light bulb moment, because for myself, one of my biggest challenges has been figuring out what exactly I want to do. For example, at uni, I had a bit of a rocky road. I switched degrees a few times, like before studying environmental science, I was studying computer science, right? Switched degrees halfway through, and I was after moving out here. So for 1.5 years, I was studying computer science, and that was like started up pretty much just as I moved out here. And yeah, look, I enjoyed it for a while, but really, I really didn't enjoy it. Looking back in hindsight, I really didn't enjoy it, and I just felt stuck. I was forcing myself to do it because originally I picked computer science because it just seemed like, yeah, it's a good idea to do. You know, it's where the future is. You know, it's where all the high-paying tech jobs are. Now, of course, with AI, there's a lot more disruptions in the job market, but still, like last few years, that's pretty much been the view. You know, study computer science, get a tech job, and yeah, voila, work a high-paying job, and voila, you're set for life. Except, thinking about it, it just didn't appeal to me, because the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I don't want to work a job where I'm just stuck behind a desk or surrounded by four walls or on a computer all the time. Like, I love hiking, I love being out in nature, so whenever I was out in nature, I was always thinking, you know, I'd love to do this a lot more. I'd love to just be able to travel and see new places, and yeah, just be out on hikes, be out in nature a lot more. And I was thinking, how can I do it? What should I do? And whenever I go out on hikes, I would think that way. And I remember when I was on the Mount Mitchell hike, like this was like mid 2023, so 3 years ago. Back then I was, just started up uni again, because after moving out to the Southern Downs region, I did some odd farm jobs, started up working at the dairy. I took a gap year during that time. After moving, during the move and all that, I took a gap year to try and figure things out, and then I did end up studying computer science, but it was just, I don't know, while I was studying that really until last year, really, or end of 2024. Yeah, until I switched to environmental science and really locked in with that. Like, I felt stuck. I didn't know what I just didn't have that drive, didn't have that any sort of there was no excitement out of it, because I mean, in terms of like finding a job and all that, in terms of like what I want to do career wise and all that, I was always thinking, well, yeah, obviously I want to get a decent paying job, I want to make a good living, but at the same time, like, I just want to do things for money. Like, I wouldn't want to work a job just because it pays well if I don't enjoy it. Like, ideally, I want to find something, that pays well, I can make a good living, but something that I also enjoy. And for me, just anything, being in an office all the time, being indoors, it just didn't sit right. It didn't sit right. And I remember when I was doing the Mount Mitchell hike 3 years ago, I was filming a video, right? I suddenly had a light bulb moment, I suddenly had a light bulb moment, because I was walking up the track and I saw a group of rangers that were chopping up this big fallen tree, and then all of a sudden I had this light bulb moment where I thought, why not look into becoming a park ranger? Yeah, why not look into becoming a ranger? I suddenly had that moment where I just thought there, and then I thought about, okay, what would it be like if I was a ranger? Because I could then work being outdoors in places that I love, traveling around. I just had all these ideas that suddenly came to my mind, and then immediately this curiosity, this excitement just lit up inside. And I was like, you know what? This is something I really should look into, something I really should consider. And anyway, then it took a while. I still continued down the same path. I still felt somewhat stuck, but then I always had that idea in the back of my head. I didn't quite feel so trapped anymore, where I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought, you know what? This is something that I really would like to do. But still, I didn't know exactly how to go about it. So I slowly did research, slowly looked into it, and then all of a sudden, my university they launched a new environmental science degree with ecology and conservation as a major, and I saw that announcement. They launched a degree, because before that it was just you would study like a Bachelor of Science and then you could major in environmental science, environmental studies. But they launched a dedicated environmental science degree at the university I was at, and yeah, as soon as they did that, as soon as I saw that, I thought, you know what, I have to make the switch. I was halfway through my computer science degree, but I immediately thought, you know what, I have to make the switch. And I did that, and since then, it's all really changed. I became a lot more confident in the path I was on, a lot more sure of what I was doing. And since then, I really haven't felt stuck in the same way. There's always ups and downs in life, you know. We all go through that, but yeah, I finally felt like I finally knew what I wanted to do. And then, yeah, the last 2 years, I studied environmental science. I used some of my old coursework as electives, and voila, now I just landed my first job in my field of study. I've worked at it the last few weeks and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. It's a very, very long days, a steep learning curve, but it is exactly the right fit for me. And I'm very, very confident that it's going to lead to some greater things down the line. So anyway, getting back to how you can stop feeling stuck, I would say have an activity that can break you out of that monotonous cycle, because when you're just living day to day, you go to work, you come home, and you just live this same existence day after day, it's very hard to get that inspiration, get those creative ideas flowing. So I would say have a hobby, have something that can get you out of that bubble, and yeah, it might push you out of your comfort zone a bit, really get those creative juices flowing. And it depends what it is. Like for myself, making videos has definitely helped. Making videos has helped me express myself more clearly. It's definitely helped my speaking skills, even like vlogging in public, all that. It's helped a lot with overcoming social anxiety, being exposed, just being out in public more, traveling on my own. Definitely a big confidence booster. So making videos has helped, and yeah, combining that with like what I'm doing now, being out on a hike. So have some hobby, some activity that you can leverage that will get you out of that bubble. Might push you out of your comfort zone a bit. Have that, do that as often as you can on your time off, and I think the answer will eventually appear. Don't try to force anything. It might take some time. You're gonna be patient, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen eventually. That's pretty much what I did. I just, throughout those times when I was stuck, I always had activities like hiking that I would keep going back to. I mean, I started making videos, and it really helped. I'm not saying it has to be the same for you. You might have another hobby. I mean, a good one that comes to mind is music. Like if you play an instrument, it can be anything, writing, any form of art really, painting, whatever it is. I would say lean into that, and you'll be surprised what ideas might suddenly come your way. Eventually, when the time is right, the opportunities that you need will appear, and then you just have to be ready to take action. That's really the last step. It boils down to taking action. So I'm going to use my new job as an example for how I found the job. So I was just looking through some university emails a few weeks ago. I was just looking through my university emails, and all of a sudden, one of my lecturers that I've had a few times, who taught courses in my ecology and conservation majors, she sent an email to myself, and there must be most of the other ecology and conservation students who majored in that. And anyway, the email was like, okay, because I studied at the University of Southern Queensland, Toowoomba. She sent an email saying there's this opportunity that came up at an environmental consulting firm in Toowoomba. Basically, they're looking to hire final year students who are looking to get more experience out in the field, and pretty much it's a great opportunity to get your foot in the door, get started, and really gain some proper exposure to field work. I just completed the placement with the local ranger group before, and just, I don't know, the timing of that email, the way it was worded, I just read that email and thought, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity. Finally potentially land my first job in my field of study just as I'm finishing up. And yeah, it just sounded like the absolute perfect opportunity. Environmental consulting firm, mix of office and field work. So anyway, there was a number at the bottom of the email. I called the number, and yeah, anyway, one of the employees from the company picked up the phone, and yeah, anyway, I introduced myself, said I saw this opportunity through the email, and yeah, anyway, he was surprised. The email had only been sent out the day before, and he's like, wow, you're fast. You're the first person who's called up. We haven't even finalized the job description yet. So basically he said he'll get back to me when they've finalized the job description. So I gave him my details all there, and then a few days later I hear back and they're like, yep, this is basically the position, this is what you'll be doing, yeah, come in for an interview, so on and so forth. And yeah, then the week after went in for an interview. They basically just asked questions about what I'd studied, what I was interested in, basically just a standard job interview. They asked me what I'd studied, they asked about my experience with my placement recently that I put on my CV, just a standard interview, and so on and so forth. It went very well. At the end of it, they're like, congrats, you're hired. So I got the job on the spot. So you see, when you open yourself up to those possibilities, you'll be surprised at what opportunities might come your way. It doesn't mean that you don't. The most critical part then is taking action, because like I could have just saw that email and just ignored it and said, oh yeah, not for me. But you know, I took the action straight away, rang that number, and yeah, they seemed surprised how fast someone had picked up on that opportunity and gone for it. And that's it, man. You've just got to open yourself up to those opportunities and then be willing to take that first step, take the action. It doesn't have to be anything drastic. In my case, it was as simple as a phone call, lasted a few minutes, and then that opened up a whole doorway of possibilities that I could follow. Ultimately, it boils down, you need to have an activity or anything that breaks you out of that bubble, breaks you out of your monotonous daily routine, that can give you those inspirations, that can give you that inspiration, give you those creative ideas, and from there you become open to new possibilities. And then when the right opportunities appear, you've just got to be ready to take that action, reach out and grab those opportunities, because really no one's going to do the work for you. When the opportunities arise, you have to be willing and ready to just take those opportunities. So that's pretty much a recap of the last few years. I was feeling stuck for quite a few years, where I was studying something that I didn't enjoy. On the side, I was working a farm job. It was a good experience, but it wasn't something I obviously wanted to do long term. So I was studying something I didn't enjoy. You can do it for a while, but eventually it just becomes soul crushing. You get trapped in this monotonous routine. So basically a recap of the last 4 years since moving out here. From 3 of those years, I was pretty much feeling stuck in life, and the last year especially, that's how I broke out of it. And I'm by no means finished. Long way to go, lots to learn, lots to still do. But right now, for the first time in really quite a while, I'm very confident and just very optimistic about the path I'm on. Anyway, let's enjoy this hike. Definitely starting to encounter a lot more foot traffic as we are heading higher up in elevation. So yeah, I think most people try to come up for a very early morning start. Yeah, it's definitely more popular early out of the morning. I did leave a little bit later than I initially planned, but hey, it's been a really long week, so I decided to just have a nice slow morning. Still got plenty of time to get this hike done, with more than enough time to spare. You can see down there, Cunningham Highway, climbing up the gap. And yep, behind there is Mount Mitchell. That's where we were 3 years ago. Wow. Vegetation's starting to get a lot more sparse as we're continuing to climb. Not so much rainforest, more heathland up here towards the top. Yeah, really not that much higher to climb. Mount Mitchell is slightly higher than Bordeaux, so we shouldn't be that far off really. Oh, what do we have here? Aha, yes. Digging for gold, that is right. I remember reading about this. They did have attempts at gold mining up here back during the gold rush era, although no luck. Sound explosion echoes from the cliffs. As the dust clears, weary miner looks towards his farm in the valley far below. Could there really be gold up here? Takes a sip of water, lifts up the peak. Will the backbreaking work in isolation, spending weeks at a time in the mountain, be worth it? There's been no real colour since they started digging. Stories of gold on Mount Bordeaux emerged sometime in the 1890s when the eastern side of Cunningham's Gap was surveyed, although the secret location of the precious metal was never revealed. Rumours remained strong enough that in the 1930s, young local farmers were duped into forming a mining syndicate to work up the mountain. 7 gold mining leases were applied for with a plan to put an open cut shaft through the cliff where gold was supposed to be. So they used explosives. Secret operation continued for several years. No gold was ever found. Glints of colour within the basalt rock crystals were of mineral zeolite, not gold. So this here looks to be the remains of gold mining shaft. Wow, that was hard. It's obviously sealed off now, but wow, gold mining. This again looks like the remains of a potential gold mining shaft, which you would not want to fall down. And you can just see on the east how steep and rugged it is, going all the way down across the scenic rim, heading towards this way, pretty much immediately east, heading towards the coast. All right. We have the Mount Bordeaux lookout just up here, and you can continue on the path towards Bear Rock. And Mount Bordeaux just up this way, and yeah, the lookout is not at the summit. There's no tracks that leads directly to this summit. If you want to get to the summit, you're going to have to just scramble up yourself. Ooh, assess the situation as we get there, but we shouldn't be too far off the summit. Here we are, guys. Mount Bordeaux lookout. Looking all across the scenic rim, and the peak of Mount Bordeaux is just up here. We're at the Mount Bordeaux lookout, and the track does indeed end up here, the official track. Wow, just look at this stunning heathland up here. Just up here is the peak. Very steep, very jagged, and yeah, overlooking the scenic rim. Well, I can now say that I've done both Mount Mitchell and Mount Bordeaux. I mean, we're not quite on the summit, it's right up here, but close enough. close enough. These views are indeed spectacular. I will say this is a shorter and easier hike than I expected. Mount Mitchell is definitely longer. I don't know, this felt way shorter than Mitchell and easier, especially towards the end even. It wasn't that difficult really. Mount Mitchell is just over there, slightly higher than Cordeaux. Yeah. I like Cordeaux, but I must say, I like Mitchell better. Mount Mitchell seems to be a lot less popular. Like a lot of people who hiked Cordeaux have not done Mount Mitchell. I've now done both, and I must say I did enjoy the Mount Mitchell hike a bit more, and the views are just as stunning as this. Alright, that is the Mount Cordeaux track done and dusted. The only thing that remains is for us to walk the same track back down. Except that's not what I'm going to do. No. This has honestly been way faster and easier than I thought. I mean, I knew it was shorter than Mount Mitchell, but honestly, I was expecting something a little bit more. Really nice climb. Epic views from the top. But this just feels way too short for a day of hiking. So you know what? Instead of walking down the way I came, we're going to continue on 2.8 kilometers to Bear Rock. Yes, sir. This was not on the agenda today, but as these things often go, yeah, I'm going to do this one. I was not planning to take any details in this one. I thought Cordeaux would keep us occupied for more than long enough. But alas, I want a bit more of a hike. And I have a feeling continuing this way, there's not going to be that many people. I think most people just come just to do Cordeaux, tick it off. I want to continue on to Bear Rock. Yes, see what that's about. So yeah, that's going to add another. So Mount Cordeaux is 7 kilometers return, roughly, just under. And this is going to add another 2.8, so about 6 kilometers. It's going to turn into like a 12, 13 kilometer return hike, which is more of a nice short day hike, really. This is way, it will be way too short if I turn back now. It's only 11:30, so it took less than 1.5 hours to climb up to that lookout. So yeah, let's move on. It's still nice and fresh up here. Warmed up very fast when climbing, but I'm just going to keep and move on. Keep the blood flowing. Whew. You do warm up very fast climbing up like that, but it is still a lot more fresh up here, and we're in the shade. So yeah, going around the other side of Mount Cordeaux, looking now towards the west, and yeah, let's see what Bear Rock is about. I don't know anything about it. So yeah, oftentimes unplanned adventures turn out the best. And one thing I wanted to add to what I was all saying before is it's about the journey, not the destination. Hiking is probably one of the best examples, because oftentimes we might get so focused on the end destination, like climbing this peak, getting to this viewpoint, which oftentimes it's great. Like Mount Cordeaux views, it's great. But ultimately, that's not really what the hike is about. It's the journey that counts, the journey to get there, the climb to get there. And you can apply that to anything else in life. You might have a goal or something in mind and a destination in mind, and we really are focused on getting there, which of course, we want to get to that destination. But ultimately, I think an important lesson in life is also about learning to enjoy the journey of getting there. Enjoy the process. Like if you don't enjoy the process of getting to the destination, oftentimes the journey to get to a destination might seem tough, but I think it becomes a lot easier if you can learn to enjoy the journey and like savor every moment. It gets back also just to present moment awareness, just being aware of your surroundings, being in the present. That's why I like hiking so much, because of course being out in nature, hiking, you have to pay attention to your surroundings, especially if you're hiking on your own like I am. You've got to pay attention to your surroundings, have your wits about you, pay attention, and yeah, it just immediately snaps you back into the present moment. That's what I find. So yeah, anyway, let's continue on. I'm going to enjoy this little detour, and then yeah, we'll just take our time meandering down the mountain. Some big crowds going towards the top of Mount Cordeaux. It's a very popular hike, one of the most popular day hikes from Brisbane. It's only like 2 hours from Brisbane, Gold Coast, so it's very popular for city folks to come out this way, do Mount Cordeaux. I really don't know why Mount Cordeaux is so popular, but not Mount Mitchell. It's like you pretty much get the same view. I do like to climb up Mount Mitchell a little bit more. And anyway, I definitely want to do Mount Mitchell again at some point. But yeah, wow. Look at this, guys. We are now on the other side of Cordeaux, climbing up around the eastern side of the mountain there. Behind here, that's where the viewpoint is. Wowzers, just have a look at this. But I think going this way, we're going to have a lot more of the track to ourselves, which I'm not such a fan of, hiking around large groups of people, because for me, getting out into nature, hiking, a big part of it is to get away from people. So, yes, spectacular. Again, looks like what possibly might have been remnants of mine shafts when they had gold mining activity up here. Again, from what I understand, there was one secret location where they did find gold, but yeah, since then, no one ever had any success finding gold up here. It was all a wasted effort. Lyrebird. Well, that's a first. I've never seen a lyrebird in the wild before. Yes, first time for everything, eh? Very calm and peaceful on this side. Haven't seen anyone else in quite a while. This section of the track is definitely less frequented. So it leads up to Bear Rock, and from there continues quite far north. You can connect onto a very large network of trails here and just keep on going. But yeah, I don't want to go any further than Bear Rock, but that will bring our total up to 12 to 13 kilometers return once we get back to the car. Just while I'm walking here, I just had some other thoughts that I wanted to add to my monologue earlier, and that is, don't be afraid to change your mind. Don't be afraid to change your mind. As I explained earlier, I changed my degree halfway through environmental science to computer science, so that's quite a big shift. And I'm mainly speaking from the perspective of people who choose to, they get out of high school and then they go to uni, study, and then find a job after that. It's might be a bit different if you choose another path, like go for a trade or anything like that. I think a lot of people are under the impression that that's sort of how it has to be. Like you just choose a path, you lock in, and then you've got to stick with it. Even like when Scenic Rim Trail, yeah, that's right. So this connects on to the Scenic Rim Trail, 5.5 k's to Crest Car Park where we start, and then goes on Bear Rock and Morgan's Walk. I don't know what the difference is, but Bear Rock is the one we want to go to, so we'll go left. But yeah, I think many people are under the impression that they just have to pick a path, like choose an area of study, choose a career path, and then they're locked in. Stick with that. I think don't be afraid to change your mind. Like I'm very glad I changed. I could have chosen to. Like a part of me did want to stick it out with computer science and just continue down that way and then work in tech. But now in hindsight, I'm very glad I made that decision to change, because I know if I continued down that path, I very well could have also been on a decent path. Yeah, of course, I could have done well for myself on that path as well. But I know, I would never be 100% satisfied on that path. Some people, very well, it's the right path, but like we're all different. The right path for me might not be the right path for you, and vice versa. So what I'm getting at here is, yeah, don't be afraid to change your mind, especially when you're young, especially when like if I could have any, like I'm 25 now, if I would have any words of wisdom for, say, my 18-year-old self, coming out of high school, I would say try things, but don't feel that you have to commit or lock into a path straight away. Don't be afraid to experiment. Learn as much as you can, get as much experience as you can, try different things, but don't feel that you have to lock into a path straight away, lock into a path early, especially when you're young. Like, that's a good time where you can experiment, you can make mistakes, and yeah, look, if you mess up, if you make a mistake or you try something that doesn't work out, like, that's fine. That's a learning opportunity, that's a learning lesson, and from there you can really refine you can really refine things and figure out what works and what doesn't work for you. But what I'm getting at here is, if you just feel you're locked in on a path and you essentially trapped, like, you might be able to do really well. Like, if you find the ideal path early on, that's what you want to do, and you're locked in, then by all means go for it. Like, there's people where, like, okay, they want to become a doctor, they want to become an engineer, whatever it is, and they have that career path from like growing up or younger age, and then it's like that's it, that's what I want to do, lock in. It's like, great, they're going to be successful. I'm just speaking more for a different type of person who might not have that clear vision or that clear idea. Like, definitely for those years coming out of high school, like, I just wasn't very clear on what I wanted to do. I mean, it was a turbulent, chaotic time for everyone, of course, with COVID and all that. That was very crazy, turbulent time. Like, none of us was certain what was going on and where the world was heading during that time. So of course there's all that uncertainty that played into it. And yeah, since then it feels like the world has just become a more and more crazy and unstable place, or perhaps it's always been that way, but I mean, the way things are more and more is of course being revealed. Like, I try not to have many regrets, but if I could change one thing, I wish I would have just allowed myself to change my mind earlier. Because for those few years, I knew a lot earlier that something along these lines is what I wanted to do. Like, I had those ideas that occasionally popped up, but I didn't really allow myself to just change my mind, and I just sort of stayed. I just sort of thought I was too rigid in my thinking. I thought I had to just lock into that path and stay on it, but no, especially at a younger age, that's when it's the time to actually experiment, try different things. It might not work out, you might make mistakes, you might fail, but hey, give me examples of successful people that haven't failed. You're going to struggle. Some of the most successful people, they failed countless times before they were able to succeed. So yeah, I think that's probably one of the most important aspects. You might, like everything that I've said in this video, you might have done everything right. You might be in a great position, great career, whatever, but you might, for whatever reason, you might not be 100% satisfied with certain aspects of that. Well, in that case, it's a good idea, I think, to just be more open to other opportunities, other options, and this can apply to anything. This is not just career. I'm just using career as an example because for myself more recently that's sort of been what my focus, but you can apply it to sort of any goal. Like, even if you have an idea, even if you have like a side project or side hustle, whatever it is. Like, for myself, another example could be YouTube. Like, I've really tried hard at this whole YouTube thing for a while, where I really wanted my channel to grow and all that. Now it's like I'm purely treating this as a hobby, like trying to treat this as like something where I want to be a YouTuber, I want to just make vlogs traveling around, all that. Like, it's great as a hobby for me, but trying to like grow it into something bigger, so far it hasn't worked out. And right now I just treat this purely as a hobby. I've shifted my mindset, so we need to have that growth mindset where we're able to look at ourselves, what we're doing, and learn from mistakes. And yeah, don't be so rigid in our thinking. And yeah, of course, don't be afraid to change our minds. Like, for myself, I needed to open myself up to those opportunities and to be willing to change my mind. Once I did that, that's when everything really started to fall in place. So for anyone who feels stuck, like you have to, like you're locked in on something, or you have to stay in a certain path, and you might be in a really good position, say financially, you're on a good career, whatever, but for some reason you're just not satisfied with everything, well, in that case, it's even more important to not be afraid to change your mind. I get it's difficult. The longer you do something, you get more established, and it can be very, very hard to change, especially as you get older. And I also get that if you've got other commitments like family and all that, it's very, very hard. But what I'm getting at here is like, as early as possible, if you notice something's not right, then don't be afraid to change your mind. So yeah, that's enough rambling on my part today. We should almost be at Bear Rock. I must say, it's not quite as extensive as Mount Cordeaux, but I think I like this spot better. It's very calm, more peaceful, and wow, like Mugaro that way now, and yeah, somewhere down here is the town of Buna. Yeah, I remember you're driving down in these roads there and seeing these sort of hills. So yeah, we have found a way up here. I had no idea that this spot existed. Everyone just raves on about Mount Cordeaux, which is great, but wow, I must say, highly underrated. Getting very warm again in the sun. I think this is going to be a good spot to have some lunch. All right, once again back to the turnoff. 5.5 kilometers to the Crest car park. Well, I'm not ready to return yet. We gotta do the Morgan's walk as well. You guys should know me by now. I'm a bit of a completionist. If I see multiple options, I'll like to sample it all, try it all. Even when, say, playing video games, that's always been my play style. I'm always a completionist. I'll do all the side quests, explore every nook and cranny, and try to go for that 100% completion. I mean, I don't really play video games anymore. It's been quite a while. Back in the day, I enjoyed a bit of gaming. I mainly enjoyed the open world sandbox games, you know, your Minecraft, Terraria, stuff like that. RPGs, Skyrim, Assassin's Creed, and a few different ones, of course. A few different genres. But yeah, I don't play video games anymore because, well, number one, I don't have time. I'm too busy, and number two, main reason, my life is pretty much like a video game now. Like with the way I travel and explore, like I'm pretty much, my life is pretty much an open world RPG at the moment. Role-playing, I'm role-playing as Johan, yeah. And, well, in this case, I'm role-playing as Utopian on this channel. And yeah, my life pretty much is a video game. That's another interesting way my mindset has shifted. It's like, yeah man, live life like a video game. Yeah, like the way you want to work to, say, level up a video game character, well, we got to work the same way of leveling up ourselves. So yeah man, I really got no time to waste on video games anymore. I'm out here exploring, and yeah, really all my spare time now pretty much is just, yeah, I'm out exploring like this, or I'm working on videos, editing, reading up on things, researching, and yeah, pretty much that's all I really have time for now. It's like I don't have time for video games. Let's see where this path leads us, and I think then will be a good time to end off the video. I know this is a bit of a different style to my usual, lots more just walking and talking, rambling, and I know YouTube doesn't really like that. In that sense, YouTube is a bit like how I was describing before, where they just want you to choose a niche and lock in, and believe me, like I've really tried to like find a niche and just sort of stick to it, but I can't do that. I can't, like my interests are too widespread. I sort of find a style of making videos and I stick with it for a while, but then find another way of doing it and I'm just like, I've got to try it. So yeah, I know like these sort of vlogs, like people prefer you just show the damn nature, show you what you're doing and all that. Like we don't care about your walking and talking and rambling and all that. In that sense, I know YouTube really does prefer you to just pick a niche, stick with it, not change things up too much, which is probably why my channel hasn't been all that successful in the long run. Although I've been doing this for like 3 years now, but at this stage I really don't care. Like I know some people watching would be like, just show us the damn nature, we don't care about your rambling and talking and all that. Well, you know what, this is the style of videos that I want to make, so I'm just going to make whatever videos I want. At this stage, I really don't care much about long-term growth. This is a hobby of mine. I do it in my spare time. If my channel grows, great. If not, no big deal. I do this because I enjoy doing it. My videos from now on are going to have a lot of just walking and talking, rambling, which I'm totally fine with. If you don't like it, that's not your style, feel free to go watch something else. Like I even tried, for instance, doing more YouTube shorts, because for a long time people were telling me just do shorts, you get more exposure, you get more traction that way. Well, big mistake. I did a lot of consistent shorts, for example, from the New Zealand trip, and I noticed since I've been posting shorts more consistently, even since like Sri Lanka trip, but especially over New Zealand trip, like my views on my long form content have just been tanking, just going way down. I used to get like at least a few hundred views for all my videos. Now I struggle to get even 100 views. And that's really since doing more consistent shorts. A few of the shorts have done okay, gained a few new subscribers from shorts, but the problem with trying to grow your channel with shorts, if you are more of a long form person, is the people who watch your shorts, they're not going to go over and watch your long form content, because people these days have such short attention spans. They just want that instant hit of dopamine, and I get no enjoyment out of making shorts, so I'm not going to bother with them anymore. So at this stage, I'm just going to make whatever videos I want. It's going to be random, it's going to be a bit all over the place, a lot of rambling, walking and talking. But you know what, at this stage I don't care about long-term growth on YouTube anymore. I'm on a good path now. I'm content with the path I'm on. So I'm just going to purely treat YouTube as a hobby from now on. And I've totally let go. I'm 100% detached from whether this ever leads to anything greater than just a hobby. So reach the end of Morgan's track here. Beautiful viewpoints that I've just been keeping from you guys for the last few minutes. And yeah, overall I have very much enjoyed this hike. We're only halfway through. I've got the whole walk back now. This section, this whole section I've got to walk back, and then the main part of the Mount Cordo track as well. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll put the camera away, enjoy a nice leisurely stroll back, and yeah, then head on home. It's about 1 p.m. now. It's been almost 4 hours since I started, so yeah, nice leisurely stroll. Apart from that, subscribe if you haven't already, give the video a like, and yeah, I will leave you with this terrific view onwards and upwards.